Tom Cruise talks Jack Reacher in One Shot. One Shot is currently shooting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with Tom Cruise starring as Jack Reacher from Lee Child's novel series. The actor appears on the cover of the upcoming issue of Empire magazine with his Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol co-stars. Take a look at the magazine cover below and read on below for his comments about playing Jack Reacher in One Shot. Tom Cruise's casting in One Shot was somewhat controversial, since the actor doesn't exactly match up with the 6'5" character written in the novel. Tom Cruise revealed that author Lee Child was present at his early readings for the part, and gave his blessing for Tom Cruise to play Jack Reacher. Here's what Tom Cruise had to say below. Firstly, I'm very sensitive to it. This is Lee's book and Lee's character. Him giving me his blessing is what made me do it. If he hadn't, then I wouldn't have done it. Lee told me that the reason he wrote him that size, 6'5", is because that was just one element to his character, and that opened the door to me playing him. Tom Cruise also compared Jack Reacher to some iconic movie characters from the past. Reacher is such a great character. He doesn't have a cell phone, he doesn't have email. He's off the grid. He pays for things in cash. People look at things through the prism of the colors of their life, but Jack Reacher does things the way we want to sometimes. In that sense, he's sort of a Dirty Harry, a James Bond, a Josie Wales. When Tom Cruise took on the role of Jack Reacher in the 2012 film Jack Reacher, based on the Lee Child novel One Shot, he faced both anticipation and skepticism from fans of the books. The character of Reacher, a 6'5", 250-pound former military police officer who lives by his own rules, had been etched in the minds of readers for years, and Cruise's casting was, to say the least, controversial. Many fans question how Cruise, who stands at 5'7", could embody such a physically imposing figure. However, as Tom Cruise has done throughout his career, he embraced the challenge, delved deep into the character, and delivered a performance that, while not physically identical to the character, captured the essence of Reacher's spirit. Here, we explore Cruise's approach to portraying Reacher, his preparation for the role, and his thoughts on the film. Taking on the role of Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise has always been drawn to complex, morally ambiguous characters, and Jack Reacher fits the bill perfectly. Reacher is a drifter, a loner who has no fixed address, no family ties, and no obligations to anyone but himself. He moves through life with a strict moral code, one that often puts him at odds with the law and those in positions of power. This is a character that lives in the gray areas, and for Cruise, that ambiguity was one of the primary attractions. In interviews, Cruise has spoken at length about his admiration for Lee Child's novels. I've been a fan of Reacher for a long time, Cruise said. What I love about the character is his sense of justice. He's someone who stands up for people who can't stand up for themselves, and he does it in a way that's very methodical, very calculated. He doesn't act out of emotion, he acts out of logic. Cruise understood that there would be backlash over his casting, but he was confident that his understanding of the character, combined with his dedication to the role, would win over audiences. I knew going into this that there would be some people who wouldn't be happy about the height difference, Cruise acknowledged. But I wanted to focus on getting the character right, the way Reacher thinks, the way he moves, the way he approaches the situation. For me, it was all about understanding who this man is and bringing that to the screen. Physical and mental preparation. One of the defining characteristics of Jack Reacher is his formidable physical presence. While Cruise doesn't share Reacher's towering height, he was determined to capture the character's strength, agility, and combat skills. For months leading up to filming, Cruise immersed himself in intense physical training, working with experts in martial arts, boxing, and military tactics to ensure that his portrayal of Reacher in action sequences was as authentic as possible. In One Shot, Reacher is shown as a man who can handle himself in any situation, whether it's taking on a group of thugs in a street fight or dismantling a sniper operation with military precision. Cruise's dedication to performing his own stunts is well documented, and in Jack Reacher, he once again insisted on handling the majority of the action himself. I love doing the stunts, Cruise said. I want the audience to see that it's really me in those moments, that I'm fully committed to the character, physically and mentally. Beyond the physical preparation, Cruise spent considerable time studying Reacher's mindset. The character's military background and experience as an investigator are central to his identity, So Cruise worked with real-life military police officers and detectives to gain insight into how someone like Reacher would approach the situations he faces in one shot. Reacher is very deliberate, Cruise explained. He doesn't make rash decisions. He observes, analyzes, and then acts. He's always thinking 5 steps ahead, and that's what makes him such a formidable opponent. Diving into One Shot, the 9th book in Lee Child's Jack Reacher series, was an ideal choice for Cruise's introduction to the character. The story centers around a seemingly open and shut case. A sniper shoots 5 random people in a small Indiana town, and all evidence points to a former Army sharpshooter, James Barr. But when Reacher arrives to investigate, he quickly realizes that the case isn't as simple as it seems. Cruise was drawn to the story's intricate plot and the way it showcases Reacher's investigative skills. What's great about One Shot is that it's not just an action story, Cruise said. There's a real mystery at the heart of it, and Reacher is the kind of guy who doesn't stop until he gets to the truth. He's not interested in taking things at face value. He digs deeper, and that's what makes him such a compelling character. Director Christopher McQuarrie, who had previously worked with Cruise on Valkyrie, was the perfect partner to bring One Shot to the screen. McQuarrie's knack for crafting tight, suspenseful narratives, combined with his understanding of character-driven stories, made him an ideal choice for the project. Cruise has often spoken about the collaborative process he shares with McQuarrie, and Jack Reacher was no exception. Chris and I talked a lot about the tone of the film, Cruise recalled. We wanted to capture that hard-boiled noir feel that's so present in the book. Reacher is a man of few words, but when he speaks, it carries weight. We wanted to make sure that every line, every moment, was true to who Reacher is. Reacher's moral code. One of the most intriguing aspects of Reacher's character is his moral code. He operates outside the law, but he's not a lawbreaker. He has a clear sense of right and wrong, and he's willing to go to great lengths to see justice served, even if it means bending the rules. For Cruise, this internal compass was key to understanding Reacher. Reacher doesn't care about the system, Cruise explained. He's not interested in following protocol or doing things by the book. If he sees an injustice, he's going to fix it, no matter what it takes. But he's not a vigilante. He doesn't enjoy violence for the sake of violence. He's calculated, he's controlled, and he only resorts to physical force when it's absolutely necessary. This aspect of Reacher's personality resonated with Cruise, who has often portrayed characters with a strong sense of personal ethics. I've always been drawn to characters who have a strong moral center, even if it's unconventional, Cruise said. Reacher isn't a hero in the traditional sense, but he's someone who stands up for what he believes in. He's willing to take on the bad guys, no matter the cost, and that's something I really respect. Overcoming the casting controversy from the moment Cruise was announced as Jack Reacher, fans of the books voiced their concerns about the casting. For many, the physical disparity between Cruise and the character described in the novels was a deal-breaker. However, Cruise was determined to prove that embodying a character goes beyond physical appearance. Of course, I understand where the fans are coming from, Cruise said in response to the backlash. But my goal was to capture the essence of Reacher, not just his physicality. I wanted to bring his intelligence, his toughness, and his sense of justice to life. I hope that when people,